is that, women in insert field is a challenge everywhere. For most of my career, what I've been fighting for is women in tech, women in technology, and the representation of women in technology isn't just low at the CTO level. It's problematic all the way through, starting at the beginning, starting at people coming out of jobs. What I find refreshing about procurement is that while there are gaps at the CPO level, when you go one step down and throughout the organization, representation of women in procurement is fantastic. There are lots of women working in procurement, and there is a lot of opportunity to go from entry level to mid level to even senior level, director, VP level. And it's actually easier in procurement than it would be in some other male dominated fields. So I feel like the industry as a whole you're not the only girl in the room. And it can be really intimidating to be the only woman at the table. I've been that only engineer at the table, and that's scary stuff. So the first thing to know is that you're not going to be alone. There is a significant amount of representation, and I also think that procurement is becoming more and more responsible for a company's social and ethical responsibilities with regard to sourcing, and those have a tendency to influence the entire organization. So if your CPO is responsible for supplier diversity, as they almost all are, and they're reporting on and communicating to the organization as a whole the importance of engaging with diverse suppliers and being ethical and having social responsibility, using sourcing and the company's buying power for good, those values echo into the organization. So you can grab them and you can roll with them. So I think that in the very near future, we're going to have a lot of female CPOs because there's a significant amount of people that are at that. You don't go from going entry level to being the CPO, right? There's like 7 steps in between. And right now, those 7 steps are very accessible for women, and you have the opportunity to move up. The other thing is that I find procurement is often a good fit for the areas where women are traditionally have a lot of strength. Um, Interpersonal communications, risk management, analytics, getting people to slow down, having connections all throughout the organization. So it's often playing with your strengths, um, which is fantastic. And I think the final thing is that it's frequently a pretty flexible space to work in. So you're not usually getting a 2 o'clock in the morning phone call about a purchase order, right? Whereas if you're working in tech, like sometimes there's some scary stuff that can happen. So while can expect to put in a good amount of hours and a lot of work, it often allows for a better work-life balance than I think some other roles inside of large organizations.